Hey, so I just want to speak to you about color blocking in restaurant design. And so, what this is about is finding an effective, cost effective way to design parts of your restaurant that look impressive. They bring your eye to certain areas. They can divide up the space, but using paint, which is a really cost effective material. It's flexible. And I've used this so many times across the different restaurants, cafes, bars I've designed. Um, 2 seconds about me. I've designed hundreds of restaurants, cafes, and bars. I've owned 4 cafes before, and I've got something called the Restaurant Design Academy where I teach operators how to do this for that very reason, to try and keep their costs down when they're doing these build outs because they cost way too much, and designers tend to not understand this. So I'm going to run you through these principles right now. So this is an Instagram post I put up a while ago, which seemed to resonate with a few people. So if you look at this, um, basically what it's about is using high impact color to, yeah, bring the eyes to a certain place that you want to bring them to. And you can use it by dividing up spaces like I've shown here. You can use it by, using different amounts of color in different areas. Like, in this photo, you've got this tealy kind of green and this red, and then it's softened a bit with the timbers and the brown here fabric, whether that's a leather or a brown fabric. And you see it in this one, whereas you've got those muted tones of the whites and the tiles and the painted, concrete ceiling in there, or the slab above. And you got this very bold, deep blue next to it. And so that's created a seating zone down there, created visual interest or contrast next to it. And it's a simple thing to do. Again, cost effective. Imagine, covering that. Sorry, I keep jumping around on those different posts where, this has gone down the whole length of a space, whereas this is just in one little room. And so you've got this muted kind of concrete finish in here, and there's bold yellow, and it draws your eye to that space. This shows an example of how you can bring it down a ceiling and down over this table area. I don't actually know if this is a restaurant or a residential space, but you can do a similar thing where you're moving that paint along a ceiling, bringing it down, and it defines this space as another area in a room. And it's a really effective tool that you can do, right? Like, you can decide on a color that suits to your brand and what you're trying to do. And this is what I talked about at the beginning of this post, where you got to make sure you understand who your customers are, who your brand is, before choosing some random color. And I teach all this stuff in my course, but I just wanted to run you through with this. Now, you can, like it showed here, you can run it on the ceiling. On this one, it's running on the walls and then down onto the floor, and it just, you can see here, it kind of encapsulates that floor area and defines it and breaks up the space. I find if you paint one wall just one color, it gets very boring very quickly. But if you break up the zone with, like, say, that lower level there, and then further along here, you could cut that again and have another color going that way. Just breaks up these large expanses of walls in a very easy sort of way to do this. And that's what I spoke of before. This is just talking about creating like what they call a dado line, which is often this line that's created by either wall paneling, or you can just force that using paint and putting that paint up to kind of 36 to 40 inches or 900, 1,000 millimeters above the floor, and then doing a different paint above. And visually, it makes a space much more interesting and enjoyable to be in. Here's that same contrast. We got the muted colors and the brighter colors. This is putting blocks of colors and kind of what I'd like to call like a considered random sort of setup. We got these different colors that work and sit nicely together, and you're just creating a set of blocks around the space that, again, like your eye goes to these different colors. It goes to the yellows and these muted reds, and this peachy sort of color, and then the grays kind of settle that down a little bit. And you can, in my course, I teach people how to use SketchUp, which is a very easy tool to do this all in. And you can play around with these ideas by just using a paint bucket tool. And if I try and bring this up now, I might actually have it for you. Where this is just a restaurant I'm working on right now, but here's another one over here where you can see it's an easy exercise using this simple 3D tool. And there's other videos that I'll have on here, and like I said, within my program, where you can select a color, use this color dropper thing. And if I pulled up some of those images that I have before, I'll get rid of that. I'll move this across so I can actually use this dropper and take that color and try it out on this wall. And then, if I felt like it wasn't quite right, I can adjust it a bit and try again. And I can cut up the wall to get it exactly, to put these colors in different shapes on there. You can see just how easy you can take colors and apply them to a space using this simple 3D software. But jumping back to that post and that discussion around color blocking, there's a bit of a balance there where, say with this one, it's quite maximalist in the sense that they've got this pattern here with the blue and the white. They've got the bold, peachy kind of apricot-y color, pinky kind of peach. They got the circle with the blue and the yellow stools. You got kind of the crazy paver floor here, and this works. I'd say that this pinky peachy color actually balances out some of the crazy next to it. But there's a few schools of thought around that where you can have those muted colors next to those bold colors, which I think, or you can go full maximalism and just dump all of these colors on there, which can work as well. It's just about getting that, understanding what you're trying to create in that space. Here's what, this is where it goes all in, right? This isn't for everyone, but this is a successful, some sort of Asian cuisine restaurant, I believe in Australia somewhere. And they've just gone all in with this bold, bright pink. And it's, it makes a pretty awesome space to be in. I think some of this lighting up here, the whiteness, reduces the impact a little bit, but they've gone all in and it creates a pretty awesome space to be in. But bold color doesn't need to be overwhelming like that. You can use these warm greens again in these muted spaces to just pick up on this very cost-effective material that you or anyone can apply. And if you use that 3D tool SketchUp, you can play around with these ideas before you commit to it. And it just means that, you're able to open up spaces or complete spaces without the use of a designer or just guessing with the paintwork and hoping it's right. But now you've actually got that 3D tool to be able to go, oh shit, no, that's wrong, I got to adjust that. Or I can just or it's bang on and I'm happy with it. So that's color blocking. That's how you use it. Like I said, I'd suggest learning some SketchUp because it makes it easier to plan out these spaces. And if you're interested in learning about that, I've got that link below so you can check it out. And hopefully that helps.